Okay, so now, if you were watching earlier and I told you to stay tuned at the end of the entire video series on installing the ceiling fan, if you have TGI floor joists with the plywood, the OSB plywood gussets, or regular 2x10s or 2x12s, I thank you for staying this long so that you can get the rest of this content, okay? Because I told you I would show you another way to fish a wire from here over to a hardwired smoke alarm, or let's say if you don't have a hardwired smoke alarm, because I don't want you to have to think, oh, I'm going to have to start tearing out, cutting out drywall on the ceiling, down on the wall, to get a wire from the existing light switch to get back up over there to the ceiling fan, because this existing light switch is for these lights over by the bed. Okay, I can turn those on and off, and that's connected. That's the only power source that I can see for light switches. So don't think you have to start from scratch, because in the old days I would show people how to take this light fixture or light switch out, cut out a hole here, put in a 2-gang cut-in box. But before doing that, I would show you how to take this box out, how to cut the hole, how to take wire and fish it up, how to get it up to a ceiling fan. Because there's really hardly any way you're going to be able to get power up there if you have a floor above here like this. This bedroom is on a ground floor, and above this there's no attic, there's no crawl space, there's a floor above here. In fact, that's the bedroom. There's a bedroom up there, or an office. I think it's a bedroom and or an office area up above here. So thus there's no way to get up there to fish a wire over from here to there. And the funny thing is, this house was built about 2001. Can you believe they did not install a light switch there for an existing light fixture or for a new proposed ceiling fan in the future? I mean, they could have put a box up there, a ceiling fan box with a light switch there, a ceiling fan box with a blank plate, let's say, and then let the owner, whoever decided to buy this house brand new, the owner could have decided whether or not he wants to put a nice light fixture up here, or if he wants to put a nice ceiling fan up there with the light below the ceiling fan, or just leave a blank cover plate up there and paint it white, the same color as the ceiling. I've seen that in several bedrooms before. Okay, but they decided not to do anything. All right, so now here we go. Let's say your ceiling is 2x12s or 2x10s, and we know that when we took that hardwired smoke alarm out, the plastic box was nailed onto the side of a TGI floor joist to the right of there. Okay, the right of that smoke alarm, there's a TGI. So we knew that all of the TGIs in here were going this direction, didn't we? Okay, so now let's say you've got 2x12s here, or 2x10s here, or TGI floor joists that are still going this direction, but you've got the plywood gussets in there, the plywood in there. Now, you'd be hard pressed to take a flexi bit like I showed you with the drill bit on there and go through there, because we know when I installed this, the next TGI is to the left of that. Okay, so there's a gap between there and here, a bay area before another TGI. Then there's a gap, another TGI, and then there's a gap up over here to this. Okay, so we know there's 2 extra TGIs up in there. Let's say if they had the plywood TGIs, it would be very difficult to go from here, drill a hole, fish the flexi bit, and drill a hole through the next TGI, and then keep pushing your flexi bit in there to hit the next TGI, drill a hole through that because you're going at an angle. We could probably drill through one TGI with the flexi bit, but then for the next one, the flexi bit might just hit the next TGI and kind of go, "Arr," and maybe it's not drilling through there. Maybe you're afraid you're going to hit a wire. Maybe you're afraid you're going to hit a pipe. Maybe you're afraid that the flexi bit is going up too high and you're going to drill a hole right up through the floor up above here or something like that. Okay, and if you had, okay, so that way would be very difficult. Can you see that way? It's going to be very difficult to get your flexi bit through there. If you could get your flexi bit all the way through there, then you could attach. You can reach up through the hole there where you've taken that out. You've taken the plastic box out of this where the smoke alarm is. You've reached your arm up there. You've reached the flexi bit. You've pulled it through, and then you can attach a wire through there. Pull the flexi bit and the wire through the holes that you've already drilled, that the flexi bit drilled through. Okay, you follow me so far? That's going to be very difficult, and if not impossible to do that for an average Joe like you to be able to do that. Well, let's say you've got 2x12s or 2x10s in here. There's no way I'm going to want you to drill holes through 2x12s or 2x10s spanning this distance. When you drill holes, because first off, I don't think you're going to be able to do it. Secondly, even if you think you could be able to do it, that you could drill the holes, maybe not at that much of an angle, but at almost a 20-degree angle or something like that, and get it over there, and then reach from that hole over and reach your flexi bit or somehow to get your wire over there. I don't think it's possible, and even if it was, you're really not supposed to drill holes through 2x10s or 2x12s out in the middle of a room. It weakens your 2x12 or 2x10, 2x8, 2x6, whatever your floor joists, your ceiling joists are above here. You're not supposed to do that, okay? So, hey, Joe, how am I supposed to do it then? You know, if you're thinking, I'm just going to cut a hole up here, drywall up in the ceiling, yeah, you can do that. And if the smoke alarm wasn't there, or let's say if the smoke alarm wasn't there and you felt you had to get power from your existing light switch or something like that, if you in fact have power at an existing light switch, sometimes you don't. Sometimes the power is located over at another location. Did you know that? And then maybe when you take your light switch out, you got a black and white wire attached to your light switch. Maybe there's no power there at all. But anyways, you figure out a way to get power up there. You see an electrical outlet there. You cut a hole through the wall up high or something, and up at the ceiling, you cut a hole, and then you've got a floor joist, 2x12 or 2x10. Then you cut another hole here, and you think you're going to drill a hole through there? No, I'm telling you, please don't drill holes through the middle of a 2x10 or 2x12 or 2x8 floor joist or ceiling joist that's going across here. Okay, you're not supposed to do that. If your ceiling joist and floor joists are going this way, let's say, and you've got full 2x12s or 2x10s, you would have to come across over here somehow and figure out how to get in this wall ceiling area so that your wire can go from there directly over this way. You see what I mean? To here. That way you don't have to drill through here. Now, if you got TGIs with the plywood on there and you cut a hole through the ceiling or something, they have little pre-drilled holes in your plywood, your OSB plywood, and you can just knock those out. If you don't see those holes, you can still drill a 3/4 inch hole, 5/8 inch hole to get your wire through there, and you're not going to weaken up your TGIs, okay? But let's just take that a little bit further. Okay, this is your classroom setting, okay? So I hope you're learning as I'm talking. Some people say, oh, Joe, you go on too long. You talk too much. Well, what I have to say about that is the more I talk, the more you learn. If you really want to know how to do stuff, you need to listen to what I'm saying and get the snippets out of there that you need to get to turn on the light bulb moment in your brain, like, oh, that's how he's going to do it. That's how I should do it. Or that's how I shouldn't do it. Because back to here, you start cutting holes in your ceiling It's all fine and dandy. You can do that. But and you can cut holes through your wall and come down here and fish a wire up there and patch a drywall in your wall, in your ceiling. You can do that all day long if you want, but hear me out. If you're not a professional drywaller, you're not gonna be able to match this texture on the walls, and you're not gonna match the texture on your ceiling if you have texture. Now, lots of times older houses might have skip trowel texture, might have spray texture knockdown, might have orange peel, it might have Spanish style texture, it might have some sort of design texture. Are you gonna match that? Because let me tell you, even for professionals, a patch is a patch is a patch. If you don't patch it 100% perfect, you're gonna see it. Or I'm gonna see it if you tell me that you patch your ceiling. I'll point right out where it is. I'll point right out on that wall where you patched your wall. Because 99 times out of 100, I'll be able to find any patch that you've done on a wall, and after you've painted, I'll take a look at it and I'll say, oh yeah, there it is, it's right there. Or there it is, right over there. Or yes, it's right over there, I can see it. Okay? And you're not a professional. And if you are you gonna hire a professional drywaller after you cut holes out of there? You know how much they're gonna charge you to come in here and patch your drywall and patch your ceiling and spray texture and get it all nicely done? Probably $200, $250. You want to pay for that when you don't have to do that? If you just listen to me for a little bit longer, I'll show you how to do it. Okay? All right. So let's just continue. Say you're going to patch your walls and ceilings because you think you can do it really good. Maybe you can do it pretty good, but you're going to have to patch the drywall, then you're going to have to tape it, then you're going to have to top it, then you're going to have to sand it, then you're going to have to skim it. And if you're not very good at it, you're going to have to tight skim it, then you're going to have to sand it, then you're going to have to blend it in. Then you're going to have to match your spray texture and go rent a spray texture gun or get the little spray texture cans at the hardware store and match the spray texture exactly without it looking like a patch. Are you going to be good enough to do that without making a big old mess and masking the whole bedroom off and the bed off and the ply and your carpet off and your door off and all that kind of stuff? And then after that, you're going to have to sand it. Then you're going to have to blend in your spray texture. Then you're going to have to prime your spray texture patch. Then you're going to have to paint your primed patched area. Then you're going to have to patch your painting and blend it in with the existing paint. That is if you have the same color paint for your ceiling, the same color paint for your wall, and that your paint is not 4 or 5 years old, because if it's 4 or 5 years old and you strain your paint and you mix it up, chances are if you put it on there, it's not going to match 100% perfect. And you may see an area. And then you're going to patch it, and guess what? You're going to see the patch and paint patch here. You're going to see it over here. You're going to see it on your wall, and you're going to be like, well, that's the best I could do. Okay? That's what you're going to be in for if you start cutting out drywall and stuff. Okay? So let's just think about this here for a minute. Okay? We know, and let's just believe that at your house you have an existing hardwired smoke alarm. If you don't know if it's hardwired, disconnect the smoke alarm body from there and see if you've got wires hanging out from the ceiling on down to an adapter to the smoke alarm. Then you know it's a hardwired smoke detector, which means it's hooked up to your electrical system, which means it's hooked up to an existing electrical circuit that's tied in for something else. It could be a dedicated circuit on a circuit breaker in your electrical sub panel that's connecting all of your smoke alarms together. Or it could be on a light switch, a lighting circuit that's connected to the smoke alarm. So the smoke alarm could be connected to an electrical outlet circuit. You don't know. You have to look in the electrical panel, look at all that kind of stuff, figure it all out. Chances are you're not. Lots of times they don't mark where the smoke detectors are on your circuit panel. So you're going to have to figure that out. Okay? Let's hope you have a hardwired smoke alarm like this, okay? This is what I'm going to talk about right now, okay? You've got that. You've got 2x12s or 2x8s or 2x10 full rafters, or not rafters, but ceiling joists, floor joists, if you want to call that. If you've got a floor above here, chances are you've got 2x12s. If it's an older house, you got 2x12 floor joists going this direction. Okay, let's say they're going the same direction as we had in this room. Okay, they're going this way. All right, and you've got your hardwired smoke alarm. Okay, now how are we going to get power over here? Because we know we cannot fish our wire through here. We don't want to cut drywall out. We don't want to drill holes with a flexi bit all the way across here. Chances are we're not going to be able to do that. And we don't want to weaken our floor joists because the floor joists are up above here holding this. You don't want these to crack later. You don't want to drill too big of a hole. And you're just, if you had a building inspector ask you that, he's just going to say, no, you cannot drill through the middle of this room. If this is, the floor joists are holding up a floor up above here. Now, if this was just ceiling joists holding up just the drywall, that might be something different. But if it was that case, then you probably have rafters above here, you probably have an attic above here, and you wouldn't even be doing any of this other stuff, because if you have an attic, you can go up there and you can crawl up there and you can get from where this wire is here going into the smoke alarm, and then you can fish the wire over to a new location over here, right? You don't have to do anything, but we don't have an attic. So how else, Joe, are we going to do this? Well, you got to look at your existing conditions. Now we're going to take a look here. Okay, we know the floor joists go across this way, right? Okay, there's our smoke alarm over there. What do we have over here? We've got a closet, don't we? Okay, what do you suppose we could do? We could do without patching any drywall up in the ceiling or figuring out where else to get our power from. We could go from this ceiling smoke alarm, okay? We know the floor joist is off to the left, and 16 inches over here, we got another floor joist. So we've got a bay, open bay. It's probably got insulation, it's full insulation, okay? We got a bay across here, then we got a floor joist, and we got another bay, and then a floor joist, then another bay where the ceiling fan is, okay? So now we take the smoke alarm down, okay? We take the box out. Now we have an open cavity there, right? And that cavity is open all the way through here, through your wall where your closet is, okay? We've got a closet here. You're gonna open up this closet here, okay? Standard closet, about 2 feet. It's about 2 feet deep or whatever. Chances are this floor joist here probably goes and lands on top of that wall over there, okay? The floor joist probably does not stop at the wall where the closet is. It's gonna stop at that next wall, okay? So our bay should go all the way through here. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Now, if you want to cut the ceiling, a piece of drywall out of the ceiling, you can over there, okay? Now we can take our wire from here, fish it over to our hole here, right? Now we can cut another hole through the next bay, can't we? Now we can fish a wire from there. We can drill through the floor joist towards the end of the wall. It's not going to hold, it's not going to hurt the holding power if you drill it towards the end. And if you do that, I would recommend drilling towards the top of your 2x12 rather than the bottom of your 2x12, because that's going to maintain your strength. Do you see what I mean? Now you can cut another hole over here. Now you can drill a hole through the next 2x12. Let's continue with this further. I'm gonna open up the closet. So let's open up this next door. Okay, and we're gonna look, and we're gonna cut a hole over here to get into the last bay. Because look where the last bay is. Look where this is here. Okay, Look where your ceiling fan is, and look where that last bay is. It's right before the end of the closet. And that last 2x12, you've got 2x12s, is off to the right, and you've got an open bay towards the left. Okay, so now you've got another hole you can cut in your ceiling over here. Now you've got your wire from here, boom, going across. No holes up here. You've got 3 holes here so far. You with me? Okay, now from here, you've got it open, and you can make that hole. You can make that hole however big you want. But I'm going to talk to you about that here in a minute. Okay, now you've got your hole over here, just like I did with installing the pancake box off to the edge, so you still got enough room, so you still have a hole there. You can then take your flexi bit, or you can take your wire, and you might be able to fish it right through that last bay, right through this last bay. Even though it's got insulation in it, you can either put it at the bottom of the insulation or the top of the insulation, okay? And try to fish your wire with your steel fish tape all the way through there, with your flexi bit all the way through there, with just your wire all the way through there. And then you're gonna have to reach from there over to there, okay? You got 6 feet, 7 feet to reach through a hole up in your drywall. You with me so far? You take your wire from there, go over there, go across, 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 pull out enough so you have enough to fish it over to there. Now, I've just solved the problem without you having to cut any drywall on this ceiling. Do you see what I mean? To get your wire over to there. Yes, boom, kaboom, boom, 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 and then straight over, because the joists are going this direction, right? Now let's talk about these holes. Now you could cut the drywall out, save the drywall, and you can reinstall the drywall. You can put some little cleats up there for backing. You can screw those up there. You can tape it. You can top it. You can skim it, and you can even paint it in there, or don't paint it at all. It's gonna almost look like, if you float out each little patch, it's almost gonna look like the white ceiling paint. And when is the last time, I ask, did you look in your ceiling in any of your closets in your house? Can you let me know? Do you ever look at the ceiling in your closets? I didn't think so, because I don't. And I don't think you do either. But now let's take that one thing further. Let's say you don't know how to do drywall, you don't want to patch it, and you don't want to get the material for it, and the tape, and the all-purpose mud, and do all that kind of stuff, and get it all over the place, and all that. You don't have to do that. Do you know they have inspection covers? They have an inspection cover. I've seen them at the store. They're like 10 by 10 or 12 inches by 12 inches, 10 inches by 10 inches, something like that. And usually they're white plastic. And you can cut a hole in your ceiling, okay? And obviously you'd have to make it the same size as your little inspection cover that you would get at most local hardware stores. I've seen them at Ace. And if I've seen them at Ace Hardware, I'm sure they're at other local hardware stores such as Lowe's, the Home Depot, or wherever, whatever you got over close to where you live, okay? If you can't find it at one local hardware store, go and look at another one. Look on Amazon if you have to, inspection covers, you know, and maybe you have to get it that way. But I've seen them, and you would cut your hole, let's say it's a 10-inch, 10 by 10. You would cut your hole in between, you know, your bay here. Try not to get it right next to the floor joist, right? Try to have it open, because this thing has little clips on it where it has a cover. The cover comes off, and it's got a little trim piece around there that pushes up into your drywall, and then it's got these little clamp things that go over your drywall and snap in there. It's kind of slick, and it holds itself up there. Okay, you don't have to put any screws in it or anything. And then the plastic cover fits in there and snaps in there. Okay, so you could use those. You could use 3 of those. Boom, boom, boom. And that's all you'd have to do. The other thing, if you can't find those, what else could you use? Well, I showed you what a cut-in box looks like, a rectangular cut-in box for a light switch, for an electrical outlet, duplex outlet. Now they have those in 2-gang, which is a square one, okay? A cut-in box, or a 3-gang. I've seen them as big as a 3-gang. I've installed a 3-gang cut-in box before in a bathroom, okay? And you could get a cut-in box. And then you could put a cut-in box here, here, and here. Granted, it's not as big as 10 by 10. You don't have as much room, but I think you could still fish your wire through there, through those little boxes, and then you would put the cut-in box up in there, and then you put a blank plate on those. Boom, you could do it that way. Okay, several ways you can do that. Now you don't have any patchwork up on your ceiling. Last thing we want to do is patch and paint any of the drywall ceiling, any of the walls. That creates much more problems. And let me tell you, when I say a patch is a patch is a patch, I mean a patch is a patch is a patch. You'll see it as clear as the nose on your face. You'll see it. Okay, so that's what we're trying to do, is diminish any issues with putting any holes up in your ceiling. I didn't damage the ceiling at all when I installed this ceiling fan. I didn't damage anything around where the existing smoke alarm was in order to take that smoke alarm out, take the existing smoke alarm junction ceiling box, which was plastic, nail-on. I took that out. I was real careful with that. I was able to even use the same box to put back in there. I was able to fish the wire from here to there. I didn't get my grubby hand prints, my paw prints all over the place. If you do, you can clean those off. I didn't have to do anything down next to the existing light switch or anything. You want to know all about that. If you forgot any part of that ceiling fan install, you need to go back and watch that, because I go detail by detail by detail by nauseating detail on how to get this installed. Doesn't it look good? I'm just an average Joe, okay? I am not a professional electrician. I am not a professional smoke alarm installer. I am not a professional at pretty much anything, but I know how to do all these different things. And if I can do it, an average Joe, why not listen to an average Joe explain how he did it so that you, an average Joe, can do it too? That's what my videos are all about. That's what this video series is about. If you were a professional electrician and you knew how to install ceiling fans, guess what? You're not watching these videos that I'm making. You are watching these videos, not a professional. He doesn't have time to watch my videos. He doesn't have time to figure out whether or not I'm installing the ceiling fan properly or the smoke alarm properly. Why I didn't install a light switch, and he's going to get back to me and all this kind of. He doesn't have time for that. And nobody else does either. The only person who's interested in this is the average Joe who wants to save money around the house. And I think that is you. I hope that is you. If you're still watching this, I know it's you. Okay? And I'm happy for that, and I'm happy to assist you in saving you money. This is your classroom setting. You are learning as I'm explaining the step-by-steps to do. Okay? Now, okay, I've explained it with the hardwired smoke alarm. Now you might say, oh, hey, Joe, that's all fine and dandy. I understand everything you're saying for the fact of a hardwired smoke alarm. But sorry to tell you and report to you, I have a smoke alarm, but it's only a battery-operated smoke alarm. It's not hardwired to the system. Okay, now, VideoJoe, can you help me? Explain to me how I'm supposed to get power up to this ceiling fan. And as I told you before, this is a ceiling fan with the handheld remote. Okay? You only need the handheld remote. It came with the handheld remote. Okay? The only thing you need up here is power. Okay? You don't need a light switch like in the old days. You don't need to cut this out and put another light switch and fish a wire up through the wall, cut a hole up there, cut the ceiling out, and do all this kind of stuff because you're 100% sure you've got to have a light switch to power up this ceiling fan. You don't have to do that. Newsflash, you don't have to do that. for the new style ceiling fans with the handheld remotes such as this one. Okay? All you need is to have continuous power up here at the ceiling fan location, because the ceiling fan is going to be turned on and off by this handheld remote. You've got a sensor that's in this remote, okay? You also have that whole sensor thing that I installed up high up in the top of the ceiling fan housing, okay? Just below the ceiling, remember? I had to wire that all up in such a way, and that comes with your ceiling fan too, okay? So now your question is, okay, no power here. How are we gonna get power up here? Well, we're gonna have to think about this again and think strategically, and because these floor joists happen to be going this direction, and just we happen to have this closet here, okay? So we've got to figure out how to get a wire in the bay of that ceiling fan, in that bay between ceiling joists, going over to the closet. If we can get power to the closet, we can then fish the wire up across and boom, right over to here, can't we? Okay? If we can get power up in the closet, we got to get power up in the closet ceiling again, don't we? If we can get power up in there, we can fish the wire over, just like we were going to do if we were going to take the power off of the smoke alarm. Kaboom, boom, 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 and shoo, right over, okay? Well, how are we going to do that? Well, first off, you got to see if you got any power, electrical outlets in the closet. Chances are there's no electrical outlets in the closet, okay? There's probably nothing. There is nothing, okay? But we're gonna look. If this next wall is not an exterior wall, we're gonna look on the back side of that. And chances are we're gonna hope and cross our fingers and see if we got an electrical outlet on that wall. Now here we got another bedroom here, okay? We've got a bedroom here, okay? We just came out of there. The closet's right here. The back side of the closet is this wall, okay? Boom. Now we look on this wall. This is the back side of the closet. Look at that. What do we see here? This is where we're going to get our power. Can you believe that? We're going to get our power right there to power up your new ceiling fan over here. Can you believe that? How are we going to do that? Okay? Well, you think about it. You find out what circuit this is on. You turn the breaker off for that. You remove the electrical outlet. You cut out the plastic box. You remove the plastic box. Now we've got a cavity there with the wire coming in to this electrical outlet, and chances are we've got a wire going out to the next electrical outlet. This could be, if this was at the very end of a circuit, you might only have one set of wires in there. Okay, but chances are you're going to have two sets of wires. Okay? Now, at that location, we know we're not in the right bay of where the ceiling fan is, right? Look at this. We're 2 feet off the wall, and here we got about 6 inches, and we've got 2 feet off the wall, so we've got 1.5 feet or so. The electrical outlet is about right there. Well, we need to be in the bay way over here. How are we going to do that? Well, I'll tell you how we're going to do that. You're going to take your flexi bit, and if you don't have a flexi bit and you really want to start doing things around your house, you're going to have to get a flexi bit, a system like I showed you before on how I fish that wire over to the ceiling fan, okay? You're going to take your flexi bit and push it up the wall, okay? And it comes in different sections. So you push one section up, and then you connect the second one, push that up. Now it's up in the wall about like that, okay? Then you're going to hook up the next section. I've got 3 sections of flexi bits designed to go from there to drill a hole all the way up through your top plates, okay? And here's something else you're going to have to do. Yes, you're going to have to run that up there connect it to your drill, drill a hole through your top plates, okay? And when you build a wall, there's two top plates, two 2x4s, two 2x6s, whatever. Depending which way the ceiling joists go, or the floor joists above there, you might have a 2x6 or a 2x4 on top of there hanging over for your sheetrock ceiling backing for your drywall, okay? If you have that, you might have to drill through 3 2x6s or 2x4s, top plates, or whatever. But we know the floor joists are going this way. So we're only gonna have to drill 2, okay? So you're gonna have to go through there. Now, I'm giving you lots of information, so hopefully I'm not confusing you on anything. You can play this back a little bit, whatever. But anytime you have a wall that's more than 8 feet tall, you're gonna have fire blocks in the wall. A fire block is a 2x4 or 2x6, depending how thick your wall is, that goes across between each 2x4, each 2x6, okay? That's called a fire block. That means if there's a fire, you get a fire in your wall or down below and it gets in your wall, it can only go up to your fire block, and the fire block is gonna prevent it from going up any faster than it's going to. It's gonna kind of help prevent it from going up like matchsticks all at once. Hopefully your fire department gets out here, puts the fire out before it burns the whole entire room down, the whole house down, whatever. Can you see if this was taller than 8 feet, you could have a draft of, if your fire's down here, whoosh, coming up this way, even though it's in a cavity, they say, the building inspection department generally says, you'd have to check yours, but most of them say that any wall that's taller than 8 feet, you're gonna have to put a row of fire blocks. And these walls are 10 feet tall, okay? So we know that that there's gonna be a fire block in the wall, okay? It's either gonna be at 5 feet or they could put it at 4 feet if they want. They could put it at 4 feet, all the way across here. So we know when we run our flexi bit through there, we're probably gonna hit a fire block. So we're gonna have to drill a hole through the fire block, fish our flexi bit up, fish it up, put another extension on there, put another extension on there. And then, okay, I'm tapping, yep, I can feel. I'm hoping and praying I don't drill into anything. And chances are you probably won't. It's not 100% guarantee, but because you can't see up in here, and there's a floor above here, there's no attic above here, we're gonna drill a hole through the top plate, the bottom plate and the top plate, okay? 2 pieces of wood up there, and we're not gonna drill any further than that. The theory has it, we're gonna be up in the ceiling cavity, above here, okay? It's gonna be above here. Not on this ceiling, but above on the wall, that cavity, which means we're gonna be over that way, which means we're gonna be in that, we'd have to figure out which cavity in the wall we're coming up, because the cavity in that wall is not necessarily gonna match the cavity of the wall in here. So now we gotta find our 2x4s in the wall, and we know they're generally 16 inches apart, and we know there's gonna be one next to this. Okay, you can knock on the wall and figure out. Hear that? That's where it is, not there. This is hollow. Hear that? That's where the stud is. This box is nailed to the side of that box, that stud. We know there's a bay between there and there. The next stud is going to be over there. Listen. It's going to be about right here, okay? So there's a bay here. So then we have to transfer the marks, figure out where that bay is so that we know where it's going to be up in relation to where the ceiling is going to be over here. Then we can determine where these bays are. So you're going to have to make a mark. You're going to have to make a couple marks on the ceiling as where those bays are. Then you're going to have to make a mark on the wall where that bay is, okay? So now we can cut a hole, an inspection hole up in the ceiling, can we not? Same way that we're going to do that. If we can get this inspection covers, you can make it 10 inches by 10 inches. If you can't find the inspection cover, you can get a 2-gang cut-in box. and cut that out. So you've got a hole there, and son of a gun, you're going to see where that wire's coming. Now you can cut out your other holes in the ceiling like I was showing you before. You can put blank plates on, put cut-in boxes up there, put the inspection covers on there. Hopefully you can find those, and you'll have boom, boom, boom. You'll get your wire over here, then you could fish it over here, and all of a sudden you're going to have power for there that goes down over here to this existing electrical outlet, right? That box is out of there. You've got the wires coming out of there. It's coming out of here. Now you've got your power for there, and you've still got your power for your electrical outlet there. You would have to install a junction, your cut-in box back into the wall, not the one that you take out, but you can put a cut-in box. In fact, you might even be able to put in the same one that you took out. I've never tried that before, but you could put it back in there, and then you could drill holes through the side of the box and put 2 screws into your existing wood stud that's in the wall, right? You don't even have to have a cut-in box there if you don't want. I've never done that before, and just thinking about it, I think that's possible to do. And cut-in boxes are, cut-in box is probably $2.50, so I might have just saved myself $2.50 next time I do it. In fact, next time I do something, instead, once I cut it out, before putting in a cut-in box, I'll try using the same electrical plastic box, because generally they're plastic boxes, okay? Now you rehook up everything, rehook up your electrical outlet, turn your breaker back on, and boom, you've got power to your ceiling fan. Just remember that once you connect everything up to your electrical outlet there, don't turn if you want all your power back on your room so you don't have time to install the rest of your ceiling fan that day, put some wire nuts on your wires that are hanging out from the ceiling, turn your breaker back on, and you'll have power back to your electrical outlets that are shut off for that particular circuit, and that goes up to your ceiling fan now, okay? The next day, make sure to turn the power back off so that you can install your ceiling fan. I never want you to install a ceiling fan by hooking it up to hot wires. I would never suggest or recommend you do that, okay? That's why you can do it. You can do these things. You can do these things yourself because you've always got the power off. I've got so many different things that I can show you when I come to certain things like that, okay? And so, boom, I just showed you how to get power up there without cutting any holes through your drywall or anything like that. Now, if we did it one step further, let's do it one step further, shall we? Let's just do it one step further. Let's say that all of the ceiling joists are going this way. You're like, all right, smarty pants, Video Joe. What if we have TGIs going this way with the plywood gussets? We don't have the ones that you got lucky enough to fish your wire over there with the metal ones going up and down like this. You got those, everything's open, you can fish anything anywhere, right? Okay, let's say they're going this way. Or let's say we don't have TGI floor joists, we have 2x12s. 2x12s, full pieces of wood, kaboom, 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 kaboom. And we've got a hardwired ceiling fan, or a hardwired smoke detector. We know we can't go from the hardwired smoke detector over here because the bays are going this way, right? That's pretty much out of the picture right now, isn't it? We can't do that. So what else could we do? We're going to have to look at that adjoining wall there and see where the electrical is on that wall, or the adjoining wall on this side. See where the electrical is over there. Well, here's an electrical outlet over here, but there's a window here, so chances are there's not real any way how we're going to be able to get up in there, is there? Okay, I don't know. Chances are the electrical is probably down low. Kaboom, boom, 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 up over here. down somewhere else. It probably doesn't go up above here. There's usually beams above there, headers across there for your windows, and so forth. This wall is pretty much out. We're going to look at this. We're going to look at this wall here, okay? And son of a gun, look what we see. We see an electrical outlet right there, don't we? Okay, that's where we can take our power for the ceiling fan. And we can see where that is. Now, we would have to see which bay, where the stud is first. Okay, this is hollow. This is where the stud is. We got a bay from there to there, where the next 2x4 is, okay? So we know where that bay is. Okay, well, chances are that bay is about right about where the edge of the bed is, and that is right there. Okay, now we would have to see where the bays for this ceiling is, and figure out where we can strategically install the pancake box. Okay, so we'd have a little bit more measuring, checking out to do, and we're probably going to have to do a hole somewhere, okay? And this ceiling fan, I like to put them about the edge of the bed or just beyond the bed, and it would be determined where all this is. If that was over to the left a little bit, about here on the bed, that would be okay. Or if we can't go here, we'd have to go out about here. That would be okay too, okay? As long as your blades are not going to be sticking way over here. This is 52 inch, I think. They have them 60 inch, 48, 50, you know, different sizes. You don't want to get blades too big and then have it encroach into a wall, have it too close, and it's going to make, you got a big old room here and you got your ceiling fan way over here. What gives with that? Why'd you do that? Okay, so we would probably take the power from there. We could also look in the hallway. This has the adjoining hallway, and we would have to see if there's any electrical on that wall. There's nothing there. Okay, and we could do something like that. Now, we might be able to take that out, fish the wire up, drill a hole through the fire block, get up there, drill another hole. Now we're in the cavity above the ceiling. Okay, but unfortunately, how do we get the wire from there over to your ceiling fan? Through this bay, right? How do we do that? No attic above. We have to fit it in the bays. We're not cutting bays out. We're not cutting floor joists out. We're not doing anything like that. How could we do that? Chances are we're going to have to do something. We're going to have to cut a hole. And this is what I would do. I would not cut a hole in the bedroom. I would not. You could cut a hole. You could put a blank plate up in the hole. You could cut a round hole. You could put a blank round plate, paint it the same color as your ceiling. But what I would do is I would go out into this hallway, and I would do it over here, okay? And I might have to put it over in here. Now here's something else that I just looked at. Did you see that? Look at this. Look where it's lined up in the hallway. Okay, let's go out in the hallway. Let's see what's over there. Look at that. There's a smoke alarm right there. That's a hardwired smoke alarm. I could take that down. I would have a whole cavity there. I would have to figure out which bay that was. Fish a wire between that and the ceiling fan. Kaboom. I could do that. This ceiling fan may have to be moved out a little bit to get it in the same bay as that smoke alarm. There's another option right there I just gave you. Let's say you don't have hardwired smoke alarms. Let's say you have a smoke alarm out here, but that's a battery operated smoke alarm too. Okay, we're still going to take the power from there. Okay, and then we could cut an inspection hole up in here, small one, 2-gang cut-in box, 1-gang, single-gang cut-in box. And you would have a cover plate, worst case scenario. The other thing you could do if you wanted, you'd have to patch that. Then you'd have to patch the drywall, tape it, top it, skim it, sand it, texture it a little bit, right over there. It's going to be not very noticeable when you walk down this hallway right here, would it? Not very noticeable because it's going to be over here. It's going to be in the shadow line. You'd probably be able to get by with that. That's another way you could do it, by doing that, okay? So there, I've given you quite a bit of information. Now, I'm going to give you some more information because it has to do with the next ceiling fan I'm going to be installing. Kind of same scenario as this, so stick around for that and we'll go through some more details for you. Now here I just had another epiphany on how you could get the power up there if you have to come from here as you come up and you drill a hole up through the ceiling cavity, okay, up through the top plates and all that kind of stuff. Remember I was saying if you have an electrical smoke alarm and it's hardwired, you could take that all out, you could take the plastic box out, and then you could fish over to where the wire is and then fish it, boom, right through the same bay. Make sure that the ceiling fan is installed in the same bay as this if your joists are going this way, like I was saying. And I was saying, okay, then I gave you an alternative. Well, maybe you have a smoke alarm out here in your hallway, because you're always supposed to have a smoke alarm outside your bedrooms in a hallway like this. And maybe you have a battery operated one. So I was saying, okay, if you have that, you may have to cut a hole over here, put an inspection cover over it, put a round cover over it, paint it the same color as the ceiling, or tape it, top it, skim it, texture it, just a little patch up next to the wall, and you're probably not going to see it. But I just had a brain flash that if you have a smoke alarm and it's battery operated, maybe it's a battery operated in this hallway somewhere, maybe it's right here, maybe it's over here, maybe it's over here. It doesn't matter where it's at, it's just battery operated. You have some plastic anchors pushed up into the ceiling, okay, and then your smoke alarm is attached to that, right? So what if wherever you decide you're going to have the ceiling fan, you figure out which bay that is, and you make sure that the ceiling smoke alarm is within that bay, okay? Let's say the smoke alarm is over here. Well, you take the smoke alarm out because it's battery operated. Worst case scenario, you got two little holes that you got to patch, that you have to caulk, and you're not going to see that because you're going to relocate that smoke alarm over to the bay where you know the ceiling fan is going to be. Okay, hear me out here. And then instead of reinstalling the smoke alarm just to the sheetrock, you cut a hole out in that same bay, a round hole or a rectangular one, whichever one you want, that you can attach a smoke alarm to. You can attach a smoke alarm to an electrical outlet junction box that's the same size as a switch, okay? Or if it's a round one like you saw how I did there, okay, you'd have to cut out and put a round cut-in box. I'd rather just put a rectangular cut-in box wherever it is, okay? Cut out a hole, okay? Even though you don't need it for your smoke alarm because the smoke alarm is battery operated, right? But you've got that hole now. So that when you fish up the wall, when you fish up, you can tell I'm getting excited about this because I just figured out how not to have a hole in your ceiling in the hallway. You've already got this, and your power's coming up the wall now. It's going up in the ceiling cavity. Now you've got a hole over here that you can reach over to there in the ceiling to get the wire, fish your steel tape down, take the steel tape up through there, or attach your wire from this hole here over to your steel tape or over to your flexi bit so you can pull it back down over there, get it through this hole. Now you've got enough wire left that you can then fish your flexi bit from this hole that you've cut, boom, all the way over to your ceiling fan location, okay? Now when you reattach when you get all done, then you can reattach your battery operated smoke detector alarm right to that cut-in box that you're going to put in there, the round cut-in box that you're going to put in, the rectangular cut-in box that you're going to put in. Then you don't have to cut a hole over here and patch. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so there's another idea for you to install that ceiling fan power. Oh yeah.